Welcome to the Macro Habits Podcast. I am your host, Hannah. I am so excited to be here today on this gorgeous sunny day in Orange County. And today's episode is all about like traveling and how I balance traveling, tracking macros, and living life and having fun, but also kind of maintaining my body composition and things around like bloating, digestion, all of that stuff. So we're going to get into that, but first I'm going to go over my high and low of the week. And my high is I just got back from New York and it was so much fun. My little brother lives there. He's in finance, and then his girlfriend also lives there. She's in fashion. And then my best friend from college lives there too. So last week I was feeling really anxious and I've just been under a lot of stress and just there's a lot of moving parts in my life. I feel like I was just experiencing an influx of anxiety, and I was talking to my brother's girlfriend, who's one of my best friends, Cam, and she was like, you should come out to New York. And I kind of thought for a minute, like, no, I shouldn't just like pick up and go out on a weekend trip right now. But then like the part of me that's done like so much work and therapy and just like listening to my gut and being in tune with myself, I was like, you know what? I have a really good feeling about going. I need to go. And it ended up being the best weekend. I'm going to have a highlight on my Instagram of all my New York recommendations. I've been there like 3 times over the past year and a half. So I'm not like a seasoned New York traveler, but I feel like I found some really good spots. I would consider myself a coffee connoisseur. I take that very seriously. And so I found really good coffee shops and just like fun restaurants and all that stuff. So I'll have everything linked on my Instagram with that. But it was the best trip ever and exactly what I needed. I feel like way more centered and relaxed, and it was just nice to get out of my routine, have a change of scenery, hang out with my brother and his girlfriend and my friend, and it was a great time. So that was my high. Going into my low, I booked a 6 a.m. flight home from New York, which was I had a little bit of hesitancy when I was booking that 6 a.m. flight because I know I'd be sleep deprived and it's just a long flight to fly from California to New York. So, but if I left at 6 a.m. New York time, I would land in Orange County at 10 a.m., which is really ideal because then I could have like a full work day, just kind of like power through, hit the ground running. And when I got to the airport, I made the 6 a.m. flight, which is great. That was great. We landed in Detroit and we ended up having the most gnarly layover. It was like, or delay. It was supposed to be a 20-minute layover, but it ended up being a 7-hour delay. And it involved like a ton of, we deplaned 3 times. We switched planes. It actually started to get comical. Like we would get on the plane and then they'd be like, actually, it's still broken. Like we're going to bring everyone off. And it was just kind of a nightmare travel day, but it was fine. I got home at 6 p.m. But I just want to quickly highlight like how incredible flight attendants are and how they are truly God's greatest gifts, and they don't get enough credit for how patient and kind they are. I was watching so many people like freak out about all the delays, and in my head, I'm just like, why are you taking it out on this poor flight attendant who's just delivering us the information from the pilot? She's just doing her job. Like, the plane is broken. Do you want us to go into the air in a broken plane? Like half the time when I would hear someone complaining or like scoffing at the flight attendant, I'm like, do you want to, like, they're keeping us safe. Like this is really not ideal for anyone. And I know it's messing up everyone's schedules, but the whole time I'm just like, wow, people are so rude to flight attendants and it's not okay. So if you're a flight attendant, I see you. And I even went up to the ones that were on my flight and I was like, you are doing so good. Like you are so nice. You guys are so patient. Like I can only imagine what you have to deal with. Like they were just really getting put through the ringer, and there was so much contention with all of like the deplaning and delay and anything like that. So it was a lot, but that was the low, was that was a gnarly travel day. But I made it home. And I really wanted to go into granular detail, like buckle up, because I'm going to go into detail about what I do the week before a trip, how I handle a trip when it comes to tracking macros and intuitively eating, working out, all the things, and then what I do when I get home as well. So we're going to start with my pre-trip protocol. And I, I would say I'm very routine oriented and very dialed. I'm very type A. So I love kind of like having all my ducks in a row before I go on a trip. And one of the things that really makes a difference is a lymphatic drainage massage. I do the monthly. So I get one every month, and I see Raina. She has a location in Vegas and a location in Newport Beach. And she also does pop-ups too, but she is the most incredible, like, she's so good at her craft, which is lymphatic drainage. And I've had a few lymphatic drainage massages in my time, and she stands out. Like, she's the best of the best. So if you're in the Vegas or Newport area, I highly recommend her. But I get a lymphatic drainage massage, and I do IV therapy with it. And it's nice because you're like getting the lymphatic drainage massage, you're excreting all the toxins. It helps with inflammation, digestion, all of that stuff. And then you do the IV therapy with it. And so you're getting all these good vitamins. I always get sick when I travel, so I try to get like an immunity pack. And the girl who does my IV, her name is Lisa, and her business is Hydration by Lisa. She's also who I get my peptides from. So it's just a really good combination to do before a trip. And I always feel best day 3 post lymphatic drainage. I just feel like really lean and tight, and you just excrete all the toxins during the massage. It just feels so good. So I love to line up my lymphatic drainage massages before a trip. So I go on my trip just feeling really good. And then the next thing I'm doing is nailing my workouts. My workout split kind of changes because I'm constantly working on a new workout program. My next workout program launches end of October. And so I'm always timing workouts and doing workouts. So sometimes my split is a little bit jumbled with my lifts, but I lift weights 5 to 6 days a week. And then I also do Pilates. I do Legree specifically. And I do that anywhere from like 4 to 5 times a week. I do double days a lot, but I wake up at 4:30. So I'm done with my workouts usually by 7:45, 8 a.m. And honestly, those like early morning hours are so sacred to me. Like, I've really learned to love an early morning. I love my morning routine. It's a time where I also really focus on my spirituality. I listen to worship music in between my workouts, or in the morning when I'm getting ready for my workout. I just have like really dialed that routine to where it's something that I enjoy, and I don't wake up with dread. I actually kind of wake up with excitement. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to wake up in the morning, but for the most part, I try to romanticize my morning. So I have like little things I look forward to that get me out of bed and all that stuff. So the week before a trip, I am nailing my workout split, giving it my all in Pilates, really hitting the weights hard. And then I'm also staying super hydrated. I would say, if I'm being very honest, my hydration it's good overall. Like, I know I drink a lot of water. It's good. I used to be psychotic about making sure I hit a gallon of water a day. And I would say now I range anywhere from 80 to 128 ounces. So I'm still drinking a lot of water, but I'm not drinking like a gallon every single day, if I'm being honest. I try to, but it doesn't happen every day. And, but before a trip, I am really, really trying to nail a gallon of water just so I'm as hydrated as possible, especially before traveling and going on like a longer flight. Flying is just tough on the body. You feel swollen, or at least I feel swollen, inflamed. It messes up digestion. You might feel bloated, all the things. So I try really hard to go on that trip as hydrated as possible. And then I'm hitting my protein every day. My protein intake goal is 160 grams per day. And I really try to hit it like every single day the week before a trip. I mean, I try to hit it in general, and I'd say like I'm really good about hitting my protein at least 6 out of the 7 days of the week. Like, I'm pretty consistent with it. But especially before a trip, I always feel my best when I'm hitting my protein. I feel my leanest. I feel really good in my workouts. I feel satiated. I have less cravings. So I nail the protein, and then I try to focus on a lot of whole foods. It's a week where I'm staying very disciplined. There is a difference between discipline and restriction, and I will stand by that. I know a lot of people think like tracking macros is restrictive, and I don't necessarily think that at all. I think you can definitely track macros in an unhealthy way, but you can also do it in a very healthy way, which is the way that I do it and what I built my business on. So I'm very, vocal about that, and always excited to talk about how I track macros in a way that's actually really improved my relationship with food and really repaired my metabolism. It's changed my body composition in the best way. I'm eating way more now than I was before tracking macros, but that's a whole other podcast episode. I feel like I get on so many tangents in this one, but I'm going to really try to stay on track. So nailing my protein, eating whole foods, staying disciplined. And when I say staying disciplined, like if I have a dinner out that week, it's not like I'm not going to go, but I'm going to choose the most macro friendly option, which is usually a lean protein. I'm going to probably keep the carbs pretty light that night and just focus on protein, maybe even double my protein. And then opt out for the sweet treat and make my powdered hot chocolate at home. So that's what I say when I mean staying disciplined the week before a trip. It's not missing out on something. It's just worrying about what I can control, which is what I'm eating and what I'm doing that night, all of that stuff. So that is kind of like everything I do before the trip in the health and wellness realm. Obviously still doing my supplements and all of that stuff. And then I'm very strict about the travel day protocol. And I feel like this is something I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, is like the day of travel and how important it is for your success in feeling good on the trip. So when I have a day where I'm flying or driving, usually it's a flight of some sort to get to a destination, I stay extremely disciplined that day. Like that is a day I am not, splurging at the airport on things. I'm not eating unhealthy snacks on the plane. It's just not worth it to me. And when I think about, maintaining body composition and health and wellness and feeling good in terms of bloating and digestion, like I want to be really specific with the areas that I choose to splurge and indulge in. And usually those are areas with family and friends, not by myself on an airplane. And that's an area where I'm like, I would rather stay disciplined. And that might not be everyone's journey, but it's my journey because I know I feel good. And it's an area that I've just, like I've said, developed a lot of discipline in. And I would highly recommend, if you are on like a fitness journey or you're wanting to see more results, where you're going on a trip and you're stressed about like all, the food and all the things, make your travel day a disciplined day and just decide that for yourself, stick to it, and you'll wake up the first day of your vacation feeling so good. So on the day of travel, I'm just going to give the example of the New York trip. My flight left at, I think it was like 1 p.m. that day. So I had my morning to kind of do my thing, do my routine. I packed the night before. I actually packed like 4 days before because I'm so type A and I love having all my ducks in a row. So I woke up that morning, I went to the gym and I lifted really good and then I saunted for 20 minutes. And then after that, I'm home and I am nailing as much protein as possible. I did like a whole travel day vlog on TikTok and on my Instagram so you can see like what I ate that day. But I wanted to film it to show you guys like this is exactly what I do to set myself for success, to where I'm like fueling my body throughout the day, but also not falling off the wagon before I'm even on the trip, So for my first meal, post-workout, I did 3 hard-boiled eggs, a lot of avocado, and then like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese mixed together, which I do all the time. But I knocked out like 50 to 60 grams of protein in that first meal, and that was intentional. Normally, that's a lot of protein at one time for me, and I wouldn't do that on like a normal day. But I wanted to go to the airport like feeling full and satiated and pretty satisfied so that I wasn't snacky or hungry on that first flight. I made a really high protein meal. Obviously, I took all my supplements, and I can do a whole episode about all the supplements I take and all that stuff. I also made sure to load up on wellness formula pills. They're from Sprouts and Amazon, and they are such a hack if you're traveling. They really help with preventing getting sick, or if you ever feel like that like tickle in your throat or congestion in your chest, like when you kind of feel like you're getting sick, you got to start downing those wellness pills and they will really knock it out. Like they are the best. There was actually a night in New York where I started to feel just like a little bit sick, and I think I was just exhausted and kind of overstimulated, and my friend had the wellness pills and I downed 6 of them, went to bed, and felt so good in the morning. So wellness formula I always take before a flight to help with immunity. And then I do a celery juice and aloe vera juice. Celery juice is really good for immunity. It's good for digestion. And I usually get the glass bottles from Sprouts, or I'll get just the individual celery juices from Press Juicery. And then I do a shot of aloe vera juice. Once again, this just helps digestion. And then I make sure to have all my plane snacks packed. So on the plane, like I said, I stay very dialed. I really don't eat any of the snacks that they give. I'll sometimes have a Diet Coke and water, but I am not eating any of the plain snacks because, like I said, I'm just staying really disciplined and bringing my own snacks, which are meat sticks. I probably eat 2 to 3 meat sticks a day just in general because it's the quickest, easiest protein, and it helps. I cannot say this enough. It helps so much with hitting your macros. If you make your snacks centered around meat sticks, like you will be so successful in hitting your macro split and staying within your carbs and your fat and hitting your protein. That's usually something a lot of people struggle with, is like if they hit their protein, they're 25 grams over their fat or 25 grams over their carbs. So the meat sticks are a really good way to hit your protein, but keep your fats and carbs in check. There's so many that I love. I love the Primal Kitchen one. I love the Nick's turkey sticks. All of these I get at Sprouts, and you can also get some of them on Amazon. I have like a whole Amazon section in my storefront with like my travel snacks. And then I love the Lineage meat sticks and the Lineage jerky. It's so good. Lineage is it's my favorite. I know I just listed a bunch, but out of all of those, Lineage is number one. It's just the best tasting meat stick. It has the best ingredients. It also has like organ, heart and liver, really good for like your hair, skin, and nails. Really, really clean. It's a really clean meat stick. I think I've said meat stick 37 times. But it's just really, really good too. So I would highly recommend the Lineage brand. So I grabbed their Southwest jerky, is so good. And then I will also grab protein bars. And for protein bars, I'll grab a G2G bar, Aloha bars, sometimes Built bars. Built bars have really good macros, but I don't love the ingredients. But I'll grab a variety of protein bars and then my electrolytes. And that's what I kind of bring for the plane. So it's not that I don't eat on the plane. I actually eat quite a bit of snacks, but I just make sure that I bring them. And I feel so good when I land, when I'm eating the food that I know my body likes and also eating high protein. Okay, so when I get to the airport, once I get through security, I will go to the little store and grab 3 large smart waters. And this is where my routine to some people might seem a little bit extreme, which it is. It could seem that way. But I hate feeling bloated and I hate feeling puffy and inflamed. And unfortunately, that trifecta usually happens on a plane. So I will do everything in my power to help eliminate that so that when those wheels touch down in my destination, I am feeling good, I am feeling hydrated, and I'm ready to have the best vacation ever. So I will go grab 3 large smart waters and I pee like 1,000 times on the flight. I always make sure I have an aisle seat. That is something I am so rigid about because I don't want to be that person in the window seat making the person next to me get up 500 times because I pee like seriously like 1 to 2 times an hour. It also feels good to just walk around a little, see what's going on. But I have to pee so much on the flight. Everyone always asks me that. When I post a picture of my waters, they're like, how are you like doing that? And I'm like, well, I pee a bajillion times, but it's worth it and I feel good. So I grab all my waters and then also grab a sparkling water sometimes. If it's like an afternoon flight, I'll grab like the Bubbly brand. I like their sparkling waters. And then sometimes I'll grab a coffee too. So it depends if I've had a coffee that day or if I'm craving a coffee, I'll totally get a coffee for the flight. I have a million Starbucks orders on my Instagram. So if you're curious about like macro-friendly Starbucks orders, there's a ton on there. But my go-to like tried and true Starbucks order is a venti cold brew, 3 stevia, cinnamon powder, and a splash of heavy cream. It is so good, you guys. And it doesn't have any like of the, sucralose from the sugar-free syrups. I know that sometimes upsets people's stomach. It doesn't necessarily upset my stomach, but I just feel like if you're having it every single day, it's not necessarily like the best thing for you. Pick and choose where you get your sucralose, So I'll grab a coffee and then I'm on the flight and I'm pounding water. I always make sure to put one of my electrolyte packets in the water. I love the powders, fruit punch, best flavor. And then that's kind of what I do on the travel day. If I have a connecting flight, so for example, the flight to New York, I connected in Detroit and we actually had I had like a 3-hour layover, which I had no idea about. I thought it was like a 30-minute layover, but ended up being a 3-hour layover. So I was hungry. I think we landed at it was the evening time. So I went to Qdoba in the airport because I was like, all right, I'm definitely hungry. Like I need to eat something or else I'm going to land in New York at midnight and be ravenous, which is not a good thing. So I went to Qdoba and I got a bowl with, I got a salad with double chicken, pico, salsa, fajita veggies, sour cream, and then I got a dressing on the side. But I just kept it very high protein. I wanted to keep my carbs really, really light for that meal, and I just wanted to keep it super protein focused. And with a double protein, it ended up being almost 60 grams of protein. So I felt really good after I ate that. Got another water for the last flight, it was just like an hour and 20 minutes, so really quick, and chugged my last water on the flight. Landed in New York at like, I think it was like midnight. It was so late. Went to bed and woke up feeling so good. So that's kind of how I tackle my travel day, is I always choose the smart decisions and I stay super disciplined, just to put it simply. Also, one last thing. I'm going to talk about this, kind of what I do in like a vacation day, but I love having tea at night, like in the hotel. So I bring all my teas, and they're all linked on like my Instagram and my Amazon storefront. And I have a bajillion videos about like kind of what I'm talking about now with things that I do and hacks that I do while traveling. But I love this Rest and Digest tea. It's linked I'll link it down below as well. And then I love the like yogi lemon ginger digestive tea, peppermint digestive tea, ginger tea. I usually always have tea at night, and it kind of settles my stomach. It can help with digestion the next morning. And it's just like a good little like travel hack to help with bloating and digestion while you're on vacation. So I also will usually do tea the night that I travel as well, just to make sure I wake up feeling good. Okay, so I do not track macros when I travel. I have a very balanced approach with tracking macros. My kind of mantra for macro habits is tracking macros with an intuitive approach, or with a flexible approach. So I intuitively eat and also track macros. There actually can be a very beautiful balance between both of those things, which a lot of people I feel don't believe me when I say that, but I built a business on it, and I've had a million client testimonials where people have tracked macros and also intuitively eaten and seen insane body recomposition results. So I am very passionate about you can do both. And I'm very anti-cheat meal, very anti-cheat day. And I would love to do a whole episode about this. I'm very passionate about why I'm so anti-cheat meal and cheat day. I think it creates a scarcity mindset with food. It associates food with reward. It causes stress and anxiety. It's kind of gluttonous. You feel like shit at the end of the day, for lack of a better word. You don't feel good. You go to bed feeling guilty. It can kind of spiral you mentally. Like, I used to do the cheat day thing. And now that I'm out of that cheat day cycle and that weekend, kind of cheat day binge cycle, I am so much happier. My body is happier. My relationship with food has improved so much. So I don't do cheat meals on vacation. I don't treat it like a cheat weekend either. So when I travel, I don't bring my app, or I don't use my app. I don't bring my food scale. I don't even think about tracking macros. My biggest thing that I channel every hour of the day is portion control. And that is truly the biggest hack when it comes to traveling and just in general. I mean, you have to watch your portions. And if you can stop when you're satisfied, whether it's, a really healthy, high protein meal or it's a really fun dessert, I would encourage you to stop when you're satisfied with both of those situations. And that's what I do when I travel. So I also do a lot of travel, like what I eat in a day vlogs to show you guys like what I'm eating. Because a lot of people are like, you don't eat that, or you don't finish that. And I'm like, well, I eat that, but you're correct. I don't always finish it. And that's something I'm super vocal about. I have no issue saying like, oh, I don't always finish the ice cream. I might not finish the chocolate croissant. And that's totally okay. And I think that's actually a good thing. I think that you should be able to stop when you're full. And if you don't want to clean your plate, then you shouldn't. And I know we're taught as kids too, like, once again, I'm getting on a tangent, but we're taught as kids, like, clean your plate, finish your food to get a treat, like finish your food if you want dessert, all these things. And so we're kind of like innately not really in tune with our hunger cues and in tune with our body because we weren't taught to stop when we're full. So I'm just really passionate about stopping when you're full. And, if I waste half a croissant, I really don't care. And I might get hate for that, but it's just like, I'm being super honest, and I will continue to be very honest on this podcast. I don't always finish my treats, usually don't finish them. I eat, half of it or eat a few bites of something. And when I feel satisfied, I'm like, okay, yay, that was so good. And I move on to the next thing. And I'm also a person when I travel, like, I want to try all the things. I'm such a mooch, and my family and friends know this about me, but I like love trying all the things. I'm going to want to try what's on your plate. And obviously my plate is open to be tried as well. But I feel like my family and friends, we all kind of have that same energy. So it's really fun. But in New York, or when I travel in general, I don't always stick to the most macro friendly option. I really focus on eating what I want and eating what sounds good and then stopping when I'm full. With that being said, I really do crave protein, and I know the way that protein makes me feel. So for example, if we're going to a viral brunch spot where the cinnamon roll pancakes are like out of this world, I'm 100% ordering those pancakes, but I'm also ordering maybe a side of egg whites and sausage, or an egg white omelet on the side to split with my friend, or I'm ordering some type of protein that I know is going to satisfy me along with a few bites of the pancakes, because I'm not going to finish the whole pancakes, or that would make me feel sick and too full. That would kind of like mess me up for the day. So portion control is key. And I also don't wait till the end of the day to have a treat. Like I usually have an afternoon ice cream or 2 to 3 coffees a day. Like I know that's a lot, but once again, I don't always finish the whole coffee. I just want to try all of them, and it makes it so fun. And that's like one of the best parts about traveling is the food. And I am a foodie. Like, although if you really know me, I am the one who's like, we have to go to this restaurant. We need to order this dish. Like I'm researching TikTok, Yelp, like all the things. I want to know the best thing to get. And so, especially with my friends and family, it's just so fun to go out to dinner with everyone and get a bunch of food and share it all, get the fun appetizers. And that's where I'm dialed with my portions. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the core of my small habits, which is celery juice in the morning and a lot of water and electrolytes. So when I was in New York traveling, I would get celery juice from Joe and the Juice every morning. My body just feels so good when I have celery juice. It really helps digestion. It's not realistic for every trip, and I totally get that. But if you have a juice bar, a grocery store, or sometimes coffee shops do juices and stuff, there's actually a lot more celery juice out there than you'd think. So even if I'm traveling, like usually when I'm in the States, I'll go to the grocery store and load up on some celery juice, just because once again, my body really likes it. And I feel really good with digestion and bloating after I drink it. And then a lot of water in the morning too. And then I always have my electrolytes. And if I don't have my electrolytes in the morning, I'll have them later in the day for like my pre-dinner protocol, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then movement is so key for me. I am someone that needs to move in the morning, whether it's a workout, a walk, or just a Pilates class or a workout class of some sort. I just feel so good in the morning when I move. And when I do work out on vacation, that's a question I get a lot, is like, do you just not work out on vacation? Do you take rest days? And when I was in New York, there was one day I didn't work out. Granted, we walked 22,000 steps, so we were moving the whole time, but I never go into a vacation saying, okay, I need to hit my workout split, and I need to do legs this day and upper body tomorrow, and this body part this day. It's not like that at all. But I like to move my body in the morning, and I feel really good when I work out. So normally I do work out in the morning if there's a gym accessible. I'm definitely like hitting it early in the morning. One thing that I want to talk about though, that I think is really important when you are someone who's very dialed in your routine and very dialed in health and wellness, is if you are traveling with a group of people or your family, friends, all that stuff, I never make my routine affect anyone else's or like affect the trajectory of the day. So for example, if it has been decided that we're doing an 8 a.m. coffee and brunch the next morning, I'm not being like, oh guys, could we actually do 9? Like, I really want to work out. Or I'm not like letting my kind of routine affect anyone else. And I think that's a really socially aware thing to be aware of. If we're going to 8 a.m. coffee and brunch, great. I'm going to wake up by myself early at 5 a.m., sneak out, go do my thing, do my routine, come home, and then pick up and go. And I'm not going to make it anyone else's problem. If I want to work out, I will wake up earlier to do that. And all my friends and family listening know this about me. I am very aware of like, I just don't want to be that person. Like let's be real here. Let's be real. Okay. There's nothing worse than when you're on a trip with friends or people and they're like, they want you to do everything that they want to do, but they can't do it alone. Like they want everyone to go on a run in the morning, or they want everyone to go to this coffee shop, when it's like, okay, like there's got to be a level of independence and kind of social awareness. Like if you want to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out, I think you 100% should. And that's what I choose to do because it makes me feel good and I genuinely like it. It's not every morning I'm doing that, but a good amount of the mornings I am, because I genuinely like to do it and it makes me feel good. But I just want to reiterate, make sure you don't let your routine affect the vibe of the group, because then that's where it becomes kind of annoying, and like it can seem like, I don't know, it ruins the vibe. So if I do work out in the morning, I will wake up really early. I woke up really early one morning to go to the gym and work out. I actually went to the Lifetime in New York, which was, oh my gosh, I went to the Lifetime. I'm trying to remember the area that we were in. I can't even remember, but it was like a bajillion stories. It was so big. It was so beautiful. I was just like walking on every floor. There was like a chiropractic rehabilitation center. The spa was incredible. The sauna was huge. I was just like, wow, this place is amazing. So I did go to the Lifetime one of the mornings. I did a Pilates class at Few's house in New York one morning, which was so fun. It's like a hot mat Pilates class. And it's so crazy because I am very, like, I do Pilates a lot and I do Legree, but the difference of like hot Pilates to a Legree class is so night and day. Like, I was getting my ass kicked in that hot Pilates class. It was so hard. It was so hot. It felt so good to do that the morning after, the morning after I traveled. I feel like I sweated out everything and I felt really good after. And then 2 of the days of New York, I didn't work out and I felt totally great. So you don't need to work out every day on vacation, but if there's a gym accessible and you're not inconveniencing anyone, then I think it's totally fine to work out. And I would encourage it if it's something that you want to do. So then I do, let's see here, going into the day, this is something that's really hard in some locations with travel, is staying hydrated. Like, New York is so hard to stay hydrated in because there's not a lot of bathrooms. So it sucks to have to pee every hour, especially when you're with people. I mean, I will say I definitely inconvenience people when I have to pee. So I will own that. I'm very self-aware. Like, my family and friends, if you're listening right now, you know that if I have to pee, I'm making sure I'll find the destination, but we have to make that pit stop. So in New York, I definitely tried really hard to drink a lot of water. And then I would just make sure, like, I peed 3 times at whatever restaurant we were at, or if we walked into a store with a restroom or a coffee shop with a restroom or walked by a hotel with one. That's kind of how I handle New York, because you are on your feet so much and you're eating so much fun food and all the things. It really does help if you stay hydrated. It really helps with the swelling, the inflammation, digestion, all of that stuff. So staying super hydrated is important. And then at night, I will do a castor oil patch every night. I mean, I do that almost every night except when I'm on my cycle. But the castor oil on the belly button, it works. And I'm not a doctor. Always, check with your physician, check with your doctor, but it really helps digestion and inflammation. I just take a little, I have a little mini castor oil, and you want to make sure it's hexane free, organic, and cold pressed. Those are very important. And I just take a little dollop and I rub it in my belly button, take a little patch and put it over it, sleep with it on. If I'm at home, I'll put a heating pad on sometimes. I feel like that helps it. But if I'm traveling, I don't have the heating pad. But I wake up in the morning, take the castor oil patch off, and then it really helps digestion. So I will just say, if you want to try it, I encourage it. Like I said, check with your doctor always first. If you have any questions, I'm not a doctor, but it really is like a hack for travel and just in general. Okay, let's talk about my dinner protocol when traveling. So sometimes my dinner, like, I'm trying to think, it's different for every vacation, but I think we've all been in situations where we've been munching all day and we have a really fun dinner plan where the food's amazing and, there's a ton of stuff that we're going to get and you're not super hungry. So I will kind of do my pre-bloating dinner protocol, which is I'll drink a big bottle of water with electrolytes. I just feel like electrolytes, they help digestion. I feel really good. I feel hydrated. And the powders electrolytes aren't overly salty. They actually have a really good balance of sodium, calcium, magnesium, coconut water, potassium. The reason that's a big thing, the electrolytes I drink are very high in potassium, and potassium helps excrete water. So it really helps like inflammation and stuff like that. So yeah, love those electrolytes. Talked about them 300 times, but if I love something, I love it and I will just scream it from the top of the rooftop. Okay, so I'll drink my electrolytes and then I will make sure to take my digestive enzymes. I take 2 to 3 right before the meal. You can kind of take them whenever you want around the meal. They are from Gains in Bulk. They're called the Athlete Digestive Formula. I do have a link for them and I'll link all of this down below so you guys can look through it. But the digestive enzymes help break down gluten and lactose. And I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm not intolerant to gluten, although I do avoid gluten when I'm at home and in routine. But when I'm traveling, I don't worry about it at all. But the digestive enzymes, they just help break down your food. They also can help with like the water retention the next morning. Sometimes when you're eating really salty food, that can obviously make you a little bit puffy when you wake up. And I feel like the enzymes help with that. They don't like cure bloating. They don't like fully eliminate bloating. It's not like it like is a miracle pill, but it does help. And I'm always willing to try things that help and do all the little things that help the cause, which is not being bloated and having regular digestion on travel, because it's important. And if you have regular digestion, you're not bloated most of the time. Okay, so I'll take my digestive enzymes 2 to 3. I'll eat dinner. And then here's another thing. I don't drink alcohol. So I don't drink alcohol. It's just a personal decision that I've made. And so I always order water with lemon or a sparkling water with lemon. And that I feel like is really helpful too. And if you're feeling bloated at dinner, I would also recommend getting warm lemon water. That can help kind of settle your stomach as well. So I'll always get lemon water at dinner. I really like sparkling water, so I'll do the sparkling water most of the time. And then if I feel bloated, like if I'm having a day where I'm feeling bloated, I'll take 2 to 3 Array bloat capsules. Those are the best if you're feeling bloated. I really, really like them. I have noticed a difference with those. Like if I've had times where I felt bloated and I take 2 or 3 of those, I do feel like it helps relieve some of the symptoms of that. So I always have those when I travel as well. And then when I get home from dinner, I'm drinking my tea. Like I said earlier, the lemon ginger, the peppermint one, the rest and digest one. I really like all of those. And that is my like pre-bloating or anti-bloating dinner protocol that I do. So that's kind of all the details of how I handle traveling, intuitively eating the fun foods, but still kind of staying on track in terms of feeling good. I really don't think a trip should spiral you. And I don't think you should go on a trip and you don't have to gain that like 5 pounds of water retention and come home and feel like shit and feel discouraged and feel guilty and feel stressed. Like there have been a bajillion trips I've been on where I come home, like back in the day before I kind of developed this routine and developed a better relationship with food, but I would go on trips back in the day and I would just go crazy. And then I would get home and I would feel so puffy the next day from being home post vacation. I'd feel puffy. I'd feel discouraged. I'd be like, okay, I really have to be careful with eating today. Like I don't want to eat a ton. I need to like really drop my calories, go into a deficit, like just really unhealthy mental, really unhealthy mental state. And I don't have that anymore. I've come so far. And I honestly I do a lot of weekend trips and I feel like I travel a good amount, not an excessive amount, but I would say I do like maybe like a weekend trip a month or a trip every other month. And it kind of seamlessly fits into my routine. And I really enjoy the trips. I enjoy the fun food, but I don't overindulge. And it's not this like gluttonous experience. It's more, it's a little bit more dialed and I'm more aware. And it's not restrictive, but I do apply discipline with the portion control, all that stuff. And then when I travel home from the trip, I apply the same exact kind of protocol as when I travel to the destination. I try to stay really dialed with like the protein, the water, all of that stuff. It actually sucked because when I traveled home from New York, I wasn't expecting to get home at 6 p.m. I was expecting to get home at 10 a.m. So I had like 1 meat stick and like a little bit of my Lineage jerky left. And I was so hungry the day, like when we were in the whole like delayed plane transition. And I got to like thankfully sneak to the store when we deplaned for like the 3rd time, went to the other plane and I grabbed some snacks. But yeah, during the travel day home, I try to stay as dialed as possible so that I wake up feeling really, really good. And then this is another tip. When I get home from a trip that night, I will take an Epsom salt bath with magnesium flakes and just try to sweat it out. Like I try to sweat as much as possible. And the magnesium is really good for sleep. It's good for muscle recovery, especially after New York. Like we walked on average 22,000 steps a day. Like my body hurt when I got in bed at night. Like I would shower and get in bed and I'm like, why am I so sore right now? It's just from all the walking. So I like doing the Epsom salt bath the night I get back from a trip. It's really helpful. And then I wake up the next day and just get right back into routine, go to the gym, go to Pilates, get in my work mode, go to the grocery store, just get right back into routine. And I'm thinking the next podcast episode I'm going to do is going to be all about kind of maybe some frequently asked questions around tracking macros and reverse dieting. I want to get super granular with reverse dieting and really answer your guys' questions, because I know it's a very scary, kind of foreign term to a lot of people. A lot of people associate reverse dieting with bulking, and they're two different things. When I first reverse dieted, I was so terrified, but I listened to a podcast episode about reverse dieting and all the symptoms of like what someone has, or if it was like all the symptoms that they listed of if you're in a plateau, like your next step is reverse dieting. And I had all of them, which was like extreme fatigue, food noise. I was plateauing in like my, body recomposition, weight loss journey at that time. So I'm going to do an episode all about reverse dieting, along with tracking macros, the importance of tracking protein, and like the importance of having the correct macro split when it comes to protein, carbohydrates, and fat, and just kind of give like a really hopefully informational episode on that, where you can understand reverse dieting better, understand tracking macros better. And I might even do a Q&A on my Instagram and answer it, or do the episode like that. But that's what I have planned for the next one. And like I said, I'll have everything linked down below. Any questions, comments, and concerns, you can always DM me, leave a comment down below. But thank you so much for listening. And if you're on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.